Possibility of every one of us watching our favourite game, the concept of sport being accessible to all. That's what the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa wants. ICASA is demanding that all sports matches of national importance be available on free-to-air channels. Sport federations say the move will kill the industry. So what is the best game plan here for the future of our sport and us who like to watch it? Who will have the last say on the matter? We have the ICASA councillor, Sascoc, on the line, and joining us on Skype is the Sascoc representative, Kondisa Ngwenya. Thank you very much for joining us, both of you. Sascoc, tell us more about this move.
This is an amendment of the 2010 regulations, and ours is to make sure that there's access to sports as per the mandate of ICASA, but also for the public to access these. We are also hearing all contestations of revenue versus public interest or commerce versus culture. But we need to understand the status quo, that it is not necessarily working for everyone. What about the child sitting in Mokwebe in the Eastern Cape who can't watch cricket, yet he wants to? So there are those ill feelings, but we understand, and we have received quite a number of submissions, 39 of those, and with quite a number of reasons given, especially the loss of revenue that was referred to.
And what else did you find out from those submissions, something that could affect the final decision?
That the rights regime, the determination of the prices of buying sports content, the SABC told us that it's done in dark corners. They do not know what costs a match or fixtures, 50 million over 100 million. So those are some of the debates that continued to emerge. In us, the regulator would like to understand also this pricing regime. We do not have any legal standing in regulating prices. Insofar as sports is concerned, for national interest broadcasts. But what we want to understand is, why is it that South Africans are unable to view the Cricket World Cup, the Springboks, on free-to-air TV?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's bring in Kondisa Ngwenya, and I'm just wondering what your response is to what you've heard. Obviously, these discussions are not new to you. Why do you think that this is not what should be going ahead?
Well, there are several reasons for that. Thank you very much, and thank you for having us on the show. The reason for us objecting to these regulations is really premised around the following things. The first one is that most of the regulations concern that there is not enough deep consultation taking place, or that has taken place before these amendments were drafted. Either that, or there are inputs that were given prior to these regulations being drafted have been ignored. That's the first issue. The second one is that the regulation seems to go contrary to the way the ecosystem of funding sport is so it seems to be a great emphasis on the fact that federations are much more.
Okay, Kondisa, we're just going to leave it there with you for a little bit. We're struggling to hear you, so I'm just going to pick up the conversation again with Sascoc. I mean, how do you balance this? I mean, the regulations, he was saying there, don't make way for this. They haven't been consulted enough. Why have you left them out of the loop here?
It was a public call made. It's been more than a year of engagement, and all the federations that are under Kondisa Ngwenya's Sascoc, the one he's representing tonight, they were also, most of them were consulted prior to the drafting of the regulations. Remember, we don't regulate for individuals. We regulate for public interest, not for individual federations. Jenny. So
but these federations are quite important in making sure that sport is out there, that it is accessible, that the funding gets to the players who need it. So how do you balance this need for access for all, to all, and the business interests?
Ours is to look at the rights regime, the rates now, because it came out clear that there is no systematic manner in which rights are bought. We heard from SABC that the English Premier League rights were cheaper than the local rights sold in the country for soccer. And we're talking about a dollar to a rand revenue here. So some economic play needs to be understood. So one, then, from all the deliberations, the authority rendered further questions which are still undergoing legal processing, so that we can refer back to all those narratives that we discussed there, including the price of these rights, but also how best, because when you say you're going to make a loss that the regulations will kill the sport, how is that going to happen? Because for the past 10 years, there was no killing of any sport, but even the sports that we expected to be on free-to-air, it was not consistent, it was not quality, it was not even on TV. And some of the contestations between free-to-air and subscription, with multi-choice saying we hand over to SABC sometimes for free to broadcast these games. And SABC is not in a position to do that. And some of the reasoning given by SABC was that, well, if you're given few days before, what will happen to your programming?
Okay, and let's bring in Kondisa again and see if the line is a little bit better. And I'm just wondering how you respond to that, the fact that this is probably not going to affect sport too much, though, you could obviously argue that. I mean, I know that PSL said that they will collapse if these rules are changed.
What the PSL, SAFA, and everybody has said is very true. What SABC has told ICASA is actually incorrect. They are not telling the full truth. It's not true that they get rights on minutes. Let me give you an example. We have put a proposal for the International Paralympic Games that are going to take place in 2020 to SABC now. That proposal has been sitting, they've known about for years. So no one can argue that. That's not true. Everybody knows where the rights that the PSL has had when those contracts expired, because those contracts with SABC. That is not true. The fact that they don't know the model of how rights are priced is only their own fault. There are systems out there. We've got one that measures how rights are valued and how they are sold. It's only their own ignorance. They can't be blaming the federations for not knowing the pricing model. That's disingenuous on their part. It's untrue, and they're misleading people in that respect. So I don't think we should take them seriously when they say that, and I urge ICASA not to take them seriously when they say that too. Now, how are these regulations going to kill sport? There are very simple frameworks in terms of how the economics work. What ICASA is saying with these regulations is the following: that a sports federation must give its rights first and foremost to SABC for SABC to purchase. If SABC does not agree with the sports federation, or they are not willing to pay the price, we must then go to the private broadcaster, or rather to the pay channel, and sell those rights there. But before you even sign that contract, you must come back to the SABC and say, I've got an offer from, let's say, SuperSport to sign these rights at this price. Now, you are killing the model, the pricing model, because how can you be able to negotiate a better price with the pay channel if they already know that you've been rejected somewhere? I mean, that's just bad economics. Simple put, it's just bad economics. It cannot work.
Okay, so, well, all right. So one says it can work, ICASA, and you saying, Sascoc, that it certainly cannot work. I guess there are many more conversations to be had to resolve this impasse. Kondisa Ngwena and Palesi Kadi, thank you very much. Still ahead.